Our next guests are presenting Straight Talk on Saturday, December 6th. We welcome the president and CEO of YIM, Corey Warren, along with the co-founder, Jackie Liebner, and one of the presenters, Carly Miller, and from A Healing Place, Betsy Vickers. Welcome. Corey, good to see you.
Nice.
Welcome, Jackie.
Thank you.
Carly. So, Straight Talk. Straight Talk about what?
Straight Talk started out as a real-life presentation from my mom and I. It was our real-life story, what happened, what it was like, what it's like now. We took viewers back about a decade into our lives and what happened, how I got mixed up into drugs and alcohol, what eventually led me into using heroin at a young age,
Ooh.
what got me out of heroin, and then what dragged me into alcohol and alcoholism. My mom gives the viewers a mother's perspective or a parent's perspective, and the codependency and then the enabling factors. We talk about what got us out of the chaos and separation and what ultimately brought us back to together and healing.
Wow, you seem so young to have gone through so much. How old are you?
I'm 25 years old.
Okay. So you seem like a, level-headed, nice, clean-cut kid. And I think that's part of the message that this could happen to people like you.
Yes, very true.
And just founded this organization because of your experiences?
Yes. Actually, my mom and I, once I got out of the last treatment center I was in, my mom and I spent hours on end, days on end, months on end, trying to figure out how we can take a message of hope into local schools, into our community, to the younger generations as well as the parents who may be struggling out there. And we sat around the dinner table and came up with who am I am me, why I am, and it all started there.
The name of the organization is called YIM. It's spelled W-A-I-I-A-M. Do those stand for something?
Yes, they stand for who am I?
Oh, who am I?
I am me.
All right. And you told me before the show that you were the mom enabler.
Yep, that's me. It was funny because as my son was going into addiction, the heavy heroin use, the multiple rehabs, ended up in jail for a while, into alcoholism. It was a long journey, and the whole time I kept trying to figure out how to fix him. I spent days calling around and meeting with people and saying, how do I fix him? And it was really shocking when I finally came to terms with the fact that I was as much of the problem as he had a problem.
How did you enable him? Were you giving him money, or were you looking the other way, or what?
Oh, that's such a great question, because what I thought I was doing was helping, because he would make a mistake and I would run in and fix things, because as a parent I wanted him to continue to be successful. What I didn't even realize is that my trying to fix all of his mistakes was enabling him so that he never learned to fix his own mistakes or to take care of himself.
And you also, Carly, have been through some similar issues.
Yes, I have.
Where are you now in your recovery?
I now work with YIM and work with a lot of young girls, help them kind of get to a place of where I am now, which is I no longer need the alcohol. I struggled a lot with wanting to mend my feelings, wanting to hide my feelings, so I would cover it up with drinking. I struggled with self-harm and anorexia, and so today I work with a lot of different young women.
A plethora of issues.
Yes. Yes.
Betsy, do you find that people that are having an eating disorder also are apt to develop other problems?
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's not usually what we see at our place. Very rarely is it just the eating disorder itself operating. A lot of issues, a lot of drinking goes along with this diagnosis, and as well as self-harm as well, and many other things. So.
And you're putting on a special event on
Yes.
Saturday?
Saturday, December 6th at 5 o'clock at Western High School, their community center there.
And is there a charge?
There is no charge.
No charge.
No charge.
5 to 8:30, and coincidentally, the county prosecutor's putting on a drug summit on Friday about heroin, and he told us that that is the abuse of prescription painkillers leads to heroin, and then of course the issues, all the problems. Corey, did you start? How did you get started with heroin?
Well, for me, it started out with smoking a little pot and drinking. It did take me into prescription pills, which eventually led me into heroin. Although in the line of work I'm in now, I can say that that's not always the case. I've seen people start out on some pretty hard drugs. I've also seen alcohol take people into heroin. I've seen all sorts of things now. That one of the things that Carly, my mom, and myself try to do with our organization is not fight the war on drugs. We just did a recent interview on Benadryl now, so it seems like Benadryl and different, so it's like over the counters, and this is being put out, that's being put out. You can go buy this at Meijer, bath salts. I mean, the list goes on and on with things that kids can use to get high. I'm just tired of fighting the war on drugs. I want to go back and figure out, why do we even get into drugs in the first place?
Do you find, because you speak all over the country, that you present to people who are having issues and you have an effect, are you finding?
The effect that we are seeing right now is the younger kids, especially through our OK program, which we take into local high schools around Lansing. We're finding that it's helping the students figure out who they are as individuals, so they don't need to find the acceptance or the feeling a part of. They don't need to try to be something that they're not. When they do eventually try that drink or try that drug, because it's pretty much inevitable these days, they're not getting that escaping high. They're not like, oh my gosh, this is what I've been waiting for my whole life. They're kind of like, all right, it was okay, but I was fine before all this.
And I actually present in the schools, in the OK program he's talking about. I'm there as well because I give the students the parent perspective. And they don't think about what's happening with the people I live with. They're so caught up in their own world. So not only does it give them the time to reflect on who they are and their dreams and goals and what they want to be when they grow up, but it helps them see a perspective of the people they live with. And we give them tools to have better communication with them and to problem solve better. So our goal with at least the OK program is to help them so they don't go down that path. How
close were you to rock bottom?
Doctor walked in and said, Corey, if you keep drinking at the rate that you're drinking, you have 3 months left to live. And most people, that would stop them from drinking.
But it didn't stop you?
Didn't stop me.
Because you had 3 more months to go. You had 3 more months to drink.
Some people look at it like that, yeah.
Right.
It was, when it becomes your identity, you'll do whatever it takes.
How'd you get off the heroin?
I ended up spending almost a year in a local jail. And I made a pact to myself in that jail. I said, I don't want to be considered a drug addict. I don't want to be looked at like that. I'm better than that. I know I'm better than that. I ended up getting off of the drugs, and I found myself in college now, drinking my life away. I said, but this time it's socially acceptable. I could do it. It's drinking. Everybody drinks. That's what we're supposed to do in college, is drink. So all the time I'm sitting here going, Mom, I'm clean now. I'm clean.
Right.
Really, all I was doing is just substituting alcohol for heroin.
But you were probably happy that at least it wasn't heroin.
Well, what I was happy about is he wasn't using drugs, and he was in college. So he started to actually go back to college, and he was working. He was able to maintain a really good job. And yeah, every once in a while he'd get into a little trouble with alcohol, and you think, well, he's in college, it's not unusual. You
Everybody's
hear about
doing
it, kind of. So again, you don't realize how quickly things go downhill when you're just thinking it's a normal thing.
Carly, for you, did this develop, or did it happen all of a sudden?
Oh, it developed. It started in 8th grade with self-harm.
Self-mutilation?
Yep. Didn't know how to express my feelings or get them out there, so instead I just self-harmed. And then going into high school, that's already scary. Plus, I already didn't know how to cope with feelings, and I didn't know where to fit in. I had no sense of acceptance. And so when I got into high school, it was, this crowd, which was the party crowd, they're a little more lenient, and they looked like they'd accept me, and so I kind of started hanging out with them. And it started off with just smoking a little pot, but then as soon as I found alcohol, it was just downhill from there. It just took everything away, and I was I thought I was fun to be around, and I probably wasn't. But it just took everything away.
Sounds like peer pressure is a big deal, a big part of these issues, Betsy.
It is, and I think that's part of the reason why we, you know, when I went to their event actually in Lansing, I was definitely inspired, and it was a phenomenal event. And the things that we see at a healing place and Brett and TJ's place, I think is just really measuring and paralleling, you know, quite nicely of what they're talking about. And we just, I mean, our whole goal and mission in Jackson is to just provide hope and healing, you know, for people who are struggling. So we're just trying to, you know, get the message out, and like I said, they do a phenomenal job of really giving that message of hope and encouragement of what kids are going through right now.
Who do you hope comes to this program?
We hope it is open to the community, so, and it is free. We, you know, definitely don't want to put a price on it. And we hope, you know, I think the high schoolers, young college age students, older individuals, just anybody that is struggling with, you know, these, a variety of issues that they're going to be talking about, you know, that evening. So
it's not any age-specific category.
Not any age specific.
Could happen to everyone.
I would actually add to that I think it's really vital that parents or loved ones that are struggling with somebody in addiction and are just losing their minds about how do I make things better, what do I do, those people showing up to this are going to hear not only the perspective of the addict and what they went through, but the perspective of somebody that loved them and how I got healing for myself and how I helped make myself better. And I've had a lot of parents that have said to me afterwards, you made so much sense. That was me standing up there on the stage.
And do the two of you still identify yourselves as addicts?
Absolutely.
So you're just, any day, any event could change, you could be back where you were.
We have a pretty good idea of what we need to do today
Yeah.
to make sure that doesn't happen, and we'll deal with tomorrow when it gets here.
Okay. And was there a gap between when you stopped using heroin and started the drinking?
I stopped using heroin when I went to jail, and I started drinking when I got out of jail.
So that gap, they don't have drugs or alcohol in jail?
Oh, I'm sure you could find it.
Probably, yeah.
Probably.
All right, give us the time, location, day once again, Betsy.
Yeah, it is December 6th. It's a Saturday, and it's from 5 to 8:30, and it's at Western High School Community Center.
All right. And if people want to know more about Why I Am, you have a website?
Yeah, they can go to our website at www.wai-iam.com, or go to our Facebook, facebook.com/WAI-IAM.
Great. Nice to see you all. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Appreciate it.
You bet. With Straight Talk on December 6th from YIM, Corey Warren, Jackie Liebner, Carly Miller, and from A Healing Place, Betsy Vickers.